HUBzero is fueled by a lot of different needs from a lot of different groups. It kind of grew organically out of a bunch of different things. In particular, it started with Mark Lundstrom, who had a simulation code that a colleague wanted to use, and he got a grad student working on getting it available for the web. And so they put that online, and that was the original Punch, the Purdue University Network Computing Hubs, which evolved then into Nanohub. And the goal with Nanohub was not just to do that for one code, but to do it for hundreds of different simulation tools. After a while, people got the idea, hey, that Nanohub is kind of interesting. I wish we had it for pharmaceuticals. I wish we had it for cancer care or for volcanology or all kinds of different fields. So we took the guts of Nanohub and kind of scraped it out and cleaned it up and made a package called HUBzero. So now anyone can take the HUBzero base platform and produce their own website for their own community, their own hub. Now people are exchanging data and collaborating. It's used for education, online education. So there are a lot of different needs throughout the years that people have put into the mix, and every time a new group uses it, they tend to add one more thing to the platform. Yeah, there are a lot of different communities using HUBzero in different areas, in cancer research, in environmental science, earthquakes and disaster mitigation, molecular diagnostics, even things like cybersecurity or professional ethics. And out of that, and sort of driven by that, we have this Purdue University research repository, the PUR site, which is based on HUBzero and a data management platform for people at Purdue. And it allows them to, number one, create private project areas where they can work together with their colleagues, even people outside Purdue. You can invite them into the project and they can work together privately within the project area. They can gather data, they can clean data, and then ultimately they work to publish their data. When researchers are publishing data on any hub, they walk through a process where the system guides them to get metadata, title, authors, license, abstract, things that go with your data set. And when you think the data set is ready, you push the button to have it submitted and published. Now at that point, a curation team takes a look at the resource. They might take a very careful look at the data to see if it's well described. They're not doing peer review. They're not trying to understand if it's good science. They're just trying to understand whether the data is sufficiently described that any other scientist could make use of it. Now, PUR is not the only site that's interested in data publication. So for example, Nanohub has leveraged the same capabilities that we use on PUR to publish general purpose data sets, and Nanohub's now publishing a very specific kind of data set called a compact model. Compact models are little bits of code that are used in circuit simulators, and Nanohub has the ability to create these compact models for nano devices, and they're cataloging and curating all the different nano devices for various compact models. And so HUBzero is free open source software. So it means anybody can download the code or download packages that embody the code and just use it for free. And you can download those packages and install it on your own hardware and have a hub up and running in a matter of hours. We also have Amazon instances on the Amazon Marketplace, and you can find HUBzero in the Amazon Marketplace and push the button on the image and be up and running in minutes. So some people just want to use HUBzero, and in that case we also have hosting services out there. Purdue University offers hosting services through the Hub team. You can contract with Purdue, they'll set up the hub, they'll design the web template and keep it all backed up and running 24/7. And we have an organization called the HUBzero Foundation. The HUBzero Foundation is a way of getting support for HUBzero, and the money that you pay for the foundation helps the foundation do other things to benefit the community. It helps fund the curation of code. You know, when people submit new code to HUBzero to become part of the platform, the foundation manages that process. The foundation also runs HUBzero Challenge events, which are kind of like hackathons, and of course our yearly HUBhub conference that kind of helps with the training within the community. So by getting support from the foundation, people are actually giving support back to the foundation and helping the rest of the community. HUBzero has several unique features, and it's also interesting that they're all in one place. So first of all, HUBzero supports simulation and modeling and computation in a very unique way. You can have anyone in the community submit their own simulation code into the platform, and the code runs in a safe sandbox inside virtual machines, but can also tap into high-performance computing resources. They can run on computational clusters that use MPI and other high-performance toolkits. HUBzero supports simulation and modeling in a very powerful way, but also with really accessible and easy to understand intuitive graphical user interfaces. So you can have a class of undergraduate students actually accessing this powerful research code without having to learn anything about submitting jobs to the cluster, without really having to fuss with the results to download them. They can set up a run, put in parameters, push a button, and be visualizing results that come back from the cluster instantly. HUBzero also has a framework for the computation for handling uncertainty. You know, if you measure something in a lab, you may not get an exact measurement. There may be some error due to the measurement process. With HUBzero, you can feed those imprecise inputs into any algorithm and compute the imprecise outputs that would result. You can also compute sensitivities, understanding, well, the output characteristic that I'm trying to optimize is very sensitive to one input, not very sensitive to another. And so it helps you make engineering design decisions and trade-offs, and that's built right into the framework of HUBzero. Now, HUBzero also has a whole raft of capabilities for handling data and data management. You can create private project areas, you can share data with collaborators. If you're interested in online education, HUBzero has a whole MOOC platform that you can use to teach the massive open online courses. You can put 5-week courses online. People can go through the courses, do hands-on homework assignments using the interactive simulation and modeling tools, and ask questions of the instructor, work their way through the material, take exams and quizzes, and at the end of it they can earn a certificate or a badge that shows that they've finished the course. With HUBzero, it's all in one place and it's all organized and at the fingertips of the community. HUBzero is really driven by all of the requirements of all of those different groups together. So when we add a feature for one project, if we add a capability for wiki support, or if we add the capability to create collections, sort of a Pinterest for scientists, or if we add new features to the data management or data publication, all of those things are not developed in isolation. They're driven by the needs of specific researchers on a specific hub. And they're typically beta tested according to the needs of those researchers and then rolled out to a wider community. HUBzero is always developed hand in hand with real researchers that are using the platform. And it's the researchers that drive the development and drive things forward. Yeah, Nanohub is an interesting project because they have a lot of committed people and sort of a sufficient size budget to kind of bring enough critical mass to the problem. When you create any new website, you're always trying to get a community involved in using the website. And when you reach a point that enough people are using the website, then it kind of reaches critical mass and takes off on its own. What the Nanohub team has done really well, I think, was to organize their community and get enough people using the platform, contributing to the platform, that they could reach that critical mass. And when you reach the critical mass, then a lot of other people find the site, see that it's thriving, and just want to join in. And if you keep the content pipeline going and you feed new content to a hub, then the amount of content grows, the people find the interesting content, there's a stream of new content, and you get more and more users over time. So I think what Nanohub did was pay good attention to building the community, and community building is a very specific activity that you have to focus on when you're creating a hub. So HUBzero has proved to be a valuable infrastructure for Purdue University. It's used as the basis of the Purdue University Research Repository. There's a new site they're creating for community hubs for research groups. So it's proven to be a valuable infrastructure just for Purdue. I think a way to expand it going forward is to make it easier for other institutions to adopt the same kind of infrastructure. If we can make HUBzero easier for other institutions to adopt and install, either on their own hardware or using a service like Amazon, I think by expanding the package and allowing other institutions to install it and set it up more easily, and helping to provide some of the support services around it that they need, that it'll kind of bring in a new era for HUBzero. Yeah, I'm always amazed at the number of people that haven't really heard of HUBzero, even at Purdue, where you would think that after 30 hubs and common infrastructure like the per research repository site, you'd think that everyone at Purdue would have heard of HUBzero. We're very modest about the websites, usually with just a small powered by HUBzero at the footer, if anything. If other communities could see how to apply HUBzero in their circumstance, it might really take off. Maybe one way of doing that is to actually create specific flavors of hubs that we could make available through Amazon. Part of the problem with HUBzero is that it can do so many different things, and maybe by customizing and tailoring it a little bit for different applications, it'll be easier for people to pick up and apply in specific areas. What? Well, I think I've always been a hipster, so I don't understand the word becoming in that sentence, but fully embrace my new hipster overlords. Oh, Kirk. Definitely Kirk. He spent the entire original series talking about the Prime Directive and broke the Prime Directive in every single show. So that's awesome.